Week 15, I can't believe we're here. You're probably in round 1 of the playoffs or round 2 or playoffs next week. Regardless, this is a crucial week to secure that win. I'm going to give you some starts and sits of the week. Guys who are on the edge, who I am trusting in the playoffs. Starting at the quarterback position, number 1 is Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not going to bring him up too much. He plays the Falcons. They give up the second most points to quarterbacks. If you guys watched our videos 2 weeks ago, we told you to pick him up. I also have another option for you, which is Justin Fields. He's going to be probably a little bit more available in leagues than Jimmy G. He plays the Vikings, who give up the 3rd most points to the quarterback position. And Justin Fields himself has been on a good run of games. He's averaging over 23.5 points per game in the last 3 games where he's been fully healthy. There's been some games that he's been in and out of, but the last 3 games that he's been fully healthy in, he's averaging over 23.5 points per game. And in that same time span, he's averaging 74 rushing yards in each of those games. For those games. So he provides a really safe floor. I love the development that I've seen from him. I like how he's using all of his different weapons. I would, if I need to stream a quarterback, trust him in the playoffs. I know it's risky, but I love the matchup. And the Vikings are a team that can score against the Bears. So this could be a high scoring game. I also just want to take a quick second to say a massive thank you to all of you guys supporting us over on Patreon, supporting the channel, the podcast, and our dream. It means more than you will ever know. You guys are the real MVPs. At the running back position, I believe you can start Myles Gaskin with relative confidence. He plays the New York Jets, who are fantasy gold for running backs. They give up the most points to the position. Now, this is assuming that he clears that COVID reserve list. I believe that he will. He's going to have enough time. He's had a decent year. It's been up and down. He's averaging right now 12.3 PPR points per game. So it's nothing amazing, but in the playoffs, I just want some sort of certainty. I love the matchup, and I think he's going to get enough work through the air and the ground to make him a decent play. I would expect 10 to 15 points this week. I also really like Nick Chubb this week for a couple reasons. I know he's been slightly unreliable, a little bit up and down, especially in PPR formats, but he plays the Raiders, who give up the 3rd most points to running backs, and I don't think Kareem Hunt's going to play. So if Kareem Hunt plays, you still can play Chubb, but if Kareem doesn't play, this becomes a smash matchup for Nick Chubb. The Raiders. Let's look at the last 2 running backs in fantasy who have played the Raiders. Antonio Gibson 2 weeks ago, 22.1 PPR points, and Clyde last week, 19.2 points. Teams know they can attack the Raiders on the ground, and the Browns are a run-focused team. So I could see a 2-touchdown game incoming for Nick Chubb if Kareem Hunt misses this one. Now the wide receiver position, Chase Claypool. What a interesting name this year. Up, down, before the bye week, extremely unreliable. After the bye week, he's averaged 12.5 PPR points per game. So you're starting to get a little bit more reliability out of him. He plays the Tennessee Titans, who give up the 2nd most points to the wide receiver position. In the playoffs, I just want a wide receiver in my flex position that I know can get me at least 10 points. And that's how I view Chase Claypool. He's not a fantasy superstar by any means, but he's becoming more and more reliable as Big Ben starts to figure out how to utilize him. If his ego doesn't get in the way and he gets bent, if he doesn't get benched because of his ego, then I think he's going to bring a safe floor for you in your flex or your wide receiver 2 position. And this next wide receiver we have been in love with in the pre-draft process. Didn't love that he landed in Detroit, but now you can start to see him slowly developing into a star. That's AMON RA St. Brown, 12 targets in back-to-back games the last 2 weeks. 12 targets is massive. It might be because Swift is missing time, but regardless, Jared Goff looks to AMON RA. He trusts AMON RA. They're playing the Arizona Cardinals, who are a good defense, but so was the Broncos last week. The reality is, teams are going to be able to score against the Lions. Definitely the Cardinals will be able to score against the Lions, which will give you a favorable game script for a guy like AMON RA St. Brown. Could be some, not high yardage catches, but still in PPR formats, he's going to present a safe 10 to 15 point floor. I think he's a superstar in the making. Love him in Dynasty, but I think you can start him this week, and it should be a favorable game script. By the way, since week 10, he's the wide receiver 19. At the tight end position, it is super up and down, very unreliable, but Hunter Henry is someone I'm willing to start with my playoffs on the line. Unless, I have a better option, but Hunter Henry's a decent streaming option. He plays the Colts, who give up the 3rd most points to the tight end position. Last time out, Hunter Henry dropped an absolute goose egg, 0 points. But let's not forget Mac Jones only threw the ball 3 times in that crazy weather game. I expect him to be back in his normal role within the offense. And I think if this team is within 10 yards of the red zone, to the end zone, I think he's going to be a target there for Mac Jones again. So we could see him in the end zone. And that's what you want. You want tight ends who have a great chance to score a touchdown. I think that's Hunter Henry. I'm now going to quickly give you a couple sits this week. Number 1 is Robbie Anderson. I do not trust Robbie Anderson. He plays the Buffalo Bills, who give up the least amount of points to wide receivers in fantasy. I know he's coming off a great performance last week, his best of the year, 7 catches, 84 yards and a touchdown. But this is someone who's only had one good week the entire year. Outside of that 1 week that happened last week, he's averaging under 6.5 PPR points for the entirety of the year. I don't trust it, and I'm not chasing that performance. I'm also not starting any Bills running backs. All Bills running backs will be on my benches this week. They play the Panthers, who give up the 3rd least amount of points to the running back position. And there's not a Bills running back that is averaging more than 9.5 PPR points per game this year. They don't have a guy that they trust. It might be Moss, it might be Breida, it might be Singletary, but there's no way I'm going to let the fate of my playoffs ride on a Bills running back. There are better options out there. Those are our starts and sits of the week. Good luck this week. It's a crucial week. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch
now,
it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.